Well, so COTP is gone. Now, I'm sorry, I really am. If I'm the first one dropping this bomb on you, um, whether you were brought in by somebody on my team or whether you were brought in by somebody else introduced you to COTP, what I'm hoping is that they were very clear what COTP was. Hopefully, they pointed out the red flags that they saw, and hopefully, they encouraged you to get your seed money out as quickly as possible. Now, I'll admit that there's some rumors floating around that COTP might be back, but honestly, we need to just stick with what evidence we have in front of us right now, right? So that's all I'm going to say about that right now. Now, if you're watching this video and you're totally blindsided by COTP, you had no idea the risks that were surrounding COTP. Admittedly, you might be like a lot of people out there that are kind of feeling like, okay, what now? Right? What's your next step? How are you going to recoup your money? Well, um, you know, what I want to cover in this video is the red flags that we saw when we were taking a look at COTP. Admittedly, we did use it. I'll get into why here in a little bit, but really, what I want to do is I want to point out those red flags so that in the future, as you're looking for new opportunities online, you can identify those red flags. It can help you also identify the real solid projects out there. With a due diligence checklist, you can actually pretty easily separate the scams and Ponzi schemes to the legitimate projects online. So, if you stick with me for a while and towards the end of this video, I will show you some incredibly solid projects that we believe we're going to be earning from for years to come. So, stick around and we'll get started here. All right, so let's get into. We're going to cover some of the good and the bad of COTPS. Let's start with some of the positive, and probably I know why our team got involved, and probably you did too. When admittedly, when we first got into it, we didn't 100% know whether the trades were real or not. But as time went on, and I'm sure if you did your own research, you could see pretty clearly that there was tracking back to legitimate trading going on with COTPS. So that that is an important thing, and I'm going to be getting into that a little bit when we get into our due diligence checklist. The importance of verifying the money that's being made by any company that you get involved in. So that was one thing that allowed us as a team to step into it. Now, I need to be very clear that the majority of my team stepped into COTP with money that they've earned from other income streams. So really, for the majority of our team, they stepped in no risk at all into COTPS, and so that was another thing that I want to bring up. The other thing was the ability to get our seed money out quickly. You could see we saw the money, excuse me, moving in and out very freely. Every 2 hours and 10 minutes, you could withdraw if you wanted to, right? Which was a really good feeling. We as a team, we saw some pretty big money moving in and out, 50, 60, 80 grand moving in and out. So those things made us feel like it was worth the risk. Now let's get into some of the red flags, you guys, and this stuff is really important when you're looking uh, at future projects. No transparency. Who are the owners? The problem is and what we're seeing. If you've experienced Intelligence Prime Capital, Swapnex, COTP, obviously, as we're talking about here. what we're seeing is there's one common thing, and it's very important. With no transparency, you don't know who the ownership is. The problem with that is there's no accountability. And I'm going to be diving a little more into that, kind of my breakdown and how I feel about it. But the reality is, guys, is COTP was sitting there. No one knew who they were. No one knew who's working behind the scenes. And they had, as of Sunday, when they closed down, $7.8 billion of USDT in their wallets, right? So that's an issue. Uh, that's hard for a supposed honest person to stay honest, and I'll cover that in a little bit more detail here. And then, a brand new company, anytime you're stepping into working with any company online, with if they're within their first few months of being launched, the majority of, especially in the network marketing space, space that we're in with COTPS, don't last much past 6 months. And here we are, COTP is at their 7 month mark. So this is, scammer 101 playbook that's being used here. The excuses, like in the screenshot that I showed you earlier about how they've been hacked, this and that. And these are all excuses, you guys. And so this is stuff that you really need to look for. And then again, we're going to dive in. Right now, we're going to get into what we endorse, what we've found really works. Because if you've just been burned on COTP or SwapNext or any of these other companies, there are real companies out there. What are they? Right? How can you identify what's a real legitimate company? Not every company out there, guys, believe it or not, is looking to take your money. And so let's show you what we do for due diligence and show you what we really endorse and believe in long term. Okay, so I want to cover our passive income community due diligence checklist before we dive into any of the companies that we've really found that hit these check marks. And the red ones here are what we're finding through experience. And again, guys, nothing's guaranteed, right? This is from our own experience of what we've seen online, what's really worked for us, what's been really profitable, and then what's not. And so, just quickly, we'll talk about, can we verify how they make their money? I'm going to be diving into that in a second. That's a massively important one. You don't want to be, especially if you're here in the United States, you don't want to be attached to a Ponzi scheme, anything like that. Do they have the proper licenses for their industry? Now, that's a little bit loaded. I'll go through that. Verifying their physical location, if they have one. Again, I've already talked a little bit about transparent owners and kind of what gets tied in along that, the quality of management, who you want to align yourself and work with. Track record of success is an important one, especially in this industry. We see companies come and go very quickly, so it's nice to align yourself with companies that have proven that they have what it takes to stay afloat and to really help their community long term. And then an important one, can every team member earn without having to recruit anybody? Really, can you bring people in and help them earn online potentially for the first time? Have most people want a passive income opportunity, and so that's big on what we do here. So let's get started. Now, number one, income verification. Now, this one is massively important, especially if you live here in the United States. You must verify a company and what they're doing. You have to claim that their income is legitimate. Not only do you want to align yourselves with a company that is legit, you do not want to, get involved with a straight up scam, right? Now, maybe you're somebody who can sleep at night knowing that you're stealing money from people. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the world that can. But I'm not so sure if you'd sleep well in prison, and a lot of people don't think about this when they're getting involved with these really sketchy opportunities and they don't verify where their money's coming from. There are legal ramifications for getting involved with a Ponzi scheme. That is the truth. Look it up. Take your time. Do your due diligence. Do your Google research and verify this. You can be financially liable. Your assets can be frozen, right? Um, Now, if you're a really big promoter, like some of these YouTubers out there, I'm not going to call out any names, but some of these people that have been out there bragging about their $10,000 days, $20,000 days with COTP, um, some of these people could be facing jail time. Right? And so, you have to think about the legitimacy of an opportunity before you go out there and just start promoting something. And I'm not saying COTP, there was nothing legit about it. That's not what I'm saying. But you just need to make sure before you go out and really market some of this. So people really don't understand how serious this is. So, before you're bringing in friends and family, you have to verify where the money's coming from. This is massively important. Now, licensing. This is a very tricky one, especially in the cryptocurrency space because it's vastly unregulated. So, this is more for you who are being pitched on a company that's claiming to invest and trade Forex for you. Just be aware that these companies claiming to be licensed to trade Forex are generally not licensed to trade here in the US. So, what that means is eventually they will be shut down. Now, the example we saw was with Intelligence Prime Capital. They claimed they were a financial tech company, and because of that, they didn't need to have licenses to trade Forex. Well, as we saw, that was 100% wrong, and they were very quickly shut down because of it. So, but to answer your question, no. As of right now, companies do not have to have licenses to trade cryptocurrency for you in the US, as the point of making this video. But if they are claiming to have licenses to trade Forex, you need to tread lightly, protect yourself. Okay, so point three, physical locations. Now, let me be clear, in this day and age, due to the pandemic and how businesses have changed because of that, and really, especially in our industry, a physical location isn't required. But what I do want you to watch out for is it can really be a red flag when a company claims to have a physical location. So if they do claim to have a physical location, you need to verify it. This has really proven to be another red flag for us. You pile on fake licenses, then you pile on top of that fake locations. These are all things designed to help you, the investor, feel more comfortable with getting involved. So, if they're claiming to have a physical location and it's not pretty readily easily to verify that physical location, my advice is to skip that opportunity. Stay away from it because no matter what they promise to pay you, it's clearly all just things that they're setting up to make you feel more comfortable with investing with them. Now, I'm going to be showing you some businesses that checkmark all of these things in the next few minutes here. So, point number four, transparent ownership and really who's behind the scenes in a company is vastly important. I really can't stress how important this is. In fact, beyond what we already talked about of making sure you're not a part of a Ponzi scheme, this is the second most important thing. Like we've already covered in COTP, is even if a company is their legitimate income stream, a verified way of trading or making money, the problem with them not being transparent and being out in the open with who they are is it creates no accountability. So these companies end up getting into a situation where they're potentially managing hundreds of millions, and in case of the point of COTP, billions of dollars. right? Like we had talked about previous, and no one knows who they are. So, it becomes all too easy and tempting for these people to walk away with our hard earned money. So, when you're looking for an online opportunity, um, you need to make sure that the ownership is open and transparent. And if they're not, you need to ask yourselves why. So my point is transparency keeps the honest people honest, and it keeps them from being too tempted to run away with our money. Now, number five, a track record of success. Now, there is one exception to this, and I'll get into that when I show the businesses that we've decided to align ourselves with. But the average online business opportunity only lasts for about 6 months, and sometimes it can even be less than that if it's surrounded by a scam or a Ponzi scheme. So, that's why doing your due diligence is so important and going through and covering things like some of the checklists that I've shown you here today. Now, and again, there's nothing wrong with waiting it out and seeing how a company operates and if they really have the longevity before you get involved with it. Because, keep in mind, everybody wants to get in on a ground floor opportunity when it's first launching. But when you do that, you actually are increasing your risk a little bit. Now, finally, number six, can everybody on your team make money without having to sell or recruit friends and family? Now, this one is more important than maybe what it sounds at first. Gone are the days of the network marketing companies where you're pressured to recruit friends and family into your business, or you're trying to sell them products, some lotion, potion, powder, or pill, right, that no one actually wants. Let's face it, not most people are in sales, and people are over being pitched or sold to on opportunities. So, you as a leader, or if you're someone brand new stepping into the industry trying to make money online for the first time, uh, you know, take the time. Use this checklist that I gave you today, and it's vastly important that you be selective in what you choose. Do your due diligence on the companies before you get involved. If you do this right, and again, nothing's guaranteed, right, guys? Companies do fail all the time, but at least you're aligning yourself with a company that's backed by legitimate products and opportunities, right? And real money making, and aligning yourself with a company that has the ownership and transparency that can really help you be successful online long term. And if you do this right, not only will you as a leader have success, but you will have a group of people all making money every month instead of spending money every month. So the quality of life and the excitement of your team is just that much more, which is an incredible feeling to have. But again, do your due diligence and verify these companies and really verify what they're doing behind the scenes before you get involved.